Best practices for better RESTful API design. This is the last video of our series in API design interview questions. And we start with one of the most important questions, which will be best practices for better design, better RESTful API design. So designing a RESTful API involves several best practices that only make the API easier, that not only make the API easier to use and understand, but also enhance its efficiency, maintainability, and scalability. Let's talk about some of them. The first one will be, let me delete everything here and make everything with numbers. The first one will be to use nouns to represent resources. So, designing your API around resources, which is the entities your system deals with, and use nouns, not verbs, to represent them. For example, we have users, orders, products, rather than get user, create, order, etc. Number two is to use HTTP methods correctly. So, get So you should leverage the standard HTTP methods to operate to these resources. So get is for retrieving resource, post is for creating a new resource. We have put is for updating existing resource completely. Patch it's for updating parts of existing resource, and we have delete. Okay. Number three, be consistent with naming conventions. Okay. So use consistent naming conventions and plural nouns for resource naming. For example, users rather than user. Here we use users instead of user. Number four, maintain a clear and consistent structure. This one, let me put here for you guys. Structure your URLs to reflect a hierarchy and use forward slashes to donate hierarchical relationships. For example, we have let's say that we want to get all the orders of a specific users, so we will hit something like that, which basically we exceeding the orders for the user with the ID 1234. Number five, utilize query parameters for filtering. So use query parameters for optional features like filtering, sorting, and pagination. For instance, we can do that. Let's do exactly like that. Here we filter users by role and we get all the users by the admin role. Number six, handle errors gracefully. So provide meaningful HTTP status code along with your messages in the body of the response to convey the right context about issues or errors. For example, we should return 404 not found when a resource cannot be found. We should return 400 when the request is malformed. We should return 500, which is eternal server error for server's error. Number seven, you should version your API. Version your API from the start by using a simple version number in the URL or header to help manage changes and ensure backwards compatibility. For example, we can use something like that for users, like API v1/users. Number eight, use secure connections. So always use HTTPS to secure the data to in transit. This prevents man in the middle attacks and ensures that sensitive data is transmitted securely. Number 9, support caching when appropriate. So clearly define cacheable responses by setting appropriate cache that help reduce the number of calls to the server and improve the performance of the API for clients. Number 10, implement rate limiting. Protect your API from overuse and abuse by implementing rate limiting. Inform clients of their current usage and limits via HTTP headers. And number 11, documentation is key, and I would say is king. Provide a comprehensive and understandable documentation that includes examples of requests and responses, errors code, and explanations. Tools like Swagger, which is OpenAI, can help automate parts of this documentation. So that's it for this video. And I hope you like my content. If you like my content, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you'll never miss a video, and see you in the future.